So hello there guys, and welcome back to the channel. This is Mel's Gaming here with another Way of the Hunter video. Now this video was recorded during early access as THQ Nordic and 9 Rocks Games were kind enough to allow me to take part in the early access portion for this game, so just once again a huge thank you for that. But yeah, this is a video that I have been really excited to actually share with you guys, as I had something really quite awesome actually happen. So I was just very excited to get out and start hunting once I got my hands on this early access, and I didn't even finish the tutorial fully before I decided to go out and start hunting. I managed to take down a couple of animals and sort of got a bit of an idea of what I was doing in the game, got myself a 243, which was a bit of an upgrade from the 30-30 that you start out with, and I was feeling pretty confident. So I just carried on hunting around, just exploring and seeing what this game was like. And as you will have seen there, as I was scanning around, I spotted a herd of deer. Now, I didn't know if it was whitetail or mule deer, and I actually wanted to find some whitetail and shoot some whitetail to see what they looked like in game. So I was hoping it would be some whitetail, so I just placed a marker over there, and as you can see, I'm just heading over to where I've placed that marker. Now, like I said, I hadn't even finished the tutorial or anything, so I literally only had the 30-30 you start off with and a 243 that I'd gotten after shooting a couple of animals. So I was still pretty fresh to the game when this actually happened. And honestly, this just got me even more incredibly hooked on this game than I already was, which I was already in love with this game at this point, but this was just such a cool experience, and I couldn't wait to actually be able to share it with you guys. It's been kind of difficult to just sit on this footage and wait for the embargo to lift so that I could share it with you guys, because yeah, this was really exciting. Now, getting closer and closer to that marker. Now, as I came across the bridge here, I sort of made note of the hunting stand, which you can see just there on the sort of on the left-hand side of the screen, that hunting tower. So I was keeping an eye on that, knowing that I could use that to my advantage if I wanted some more elevation as I was coming out over here. And I start scanning, and now I can use the hunter sense and actually spot these deer. And as you will see, it is whitetail. But I saw something pop up as I was scanning over that herd that just completely had me excited. I thought that I saw an incredibly high star rating, mature male whitetail in that herd. Now, it was only there for a split second, so I wasn't sure. So I was just trying to move around here to get a better look at the individual animals in this herd. And this was just so cool. I was loving this sort of stalking that you can do in this game. It's very true to life, sort of stalking around trying to make sure that you're, you know, in the best position possible. And here I could get a good look at all of the individuals in this herd, and I was scanning around. I could see that there was a buck on the far left, but in the middle there, a 5-star mature whitetail buck. Now, I can tell you that the whole time I've been playing this up until this point during early access, this is the only 5-star animal I have come across. I have not seen a single other one. Everything else appears to be 1-star or 2-star. I don't think I've seen an animal above 3 stars, actually, other than this. So this was a huge excitement for me. And it was my first herd of whitetail deer. Now, as that buck walks out and he's just moving out from the group there a little bit more, you can see the size of the rack on this guy. He is huge, and just a big-bodied deer. Like, I knew that that was the one I was looking for, just immediately, just by looking at the size of him, and I was so incredibly impressed. So this was my first look at a potential trophy in this game. And you can see I still actually have the starter scope. I hadn't even upgraded my scope yet. All I'd done was get the 243 like I mentioned. So I was just using the scope there just to try and work out sort of how close I wanted to be before taking a shot. And I am actually quite patient when waiting to take a shot here, because I'd very quickly learned that, you know, once you take a shot in this game, if you mess it up, it's quite hard to track an animal down again. You really want to be making sure that you take a good shot, and it's better to wait and just make sure that you take a good shot rather than just rush it. Now all of the herd there started to go to the left-hand side, so I decided while he was walking straight at me and I felt pretty steady and confident, I'd take that shot with the 243. And I knew it must have been a good shot because he jumped at the shot, which is a good way to see that you've made a good shot. And then he runs off with his head down, again a good indication that I'd made a good shot on him. And then we actually get to see him sort of bed down where he's gone to actually bleed out there. And I was keeping an eye on him the whole time, wondering what was going to happen, because this was the first time I'd actually seen an animal lie down before expiring. Every other animal I'd shot, by the time I got over to it, it was already dead. But as I kept an eye there, I just saw him flop over at one point. So there he'd actually finally expired. And that was sort of my first look at more of a reaction to actually being shot from one of these animals. So I was immensely impressed by that. Again, such an incredible realism factor in this game. But now I finally get to take a look at this incredible buck. What a beast of a buck. Oh my gosh, compared to all the small deer I'd been seeing, this is insane. In the first herd of whitetail I come across, no more little spike mule deer and stuff that I'd been coming across, a huge trophy potential whitetail. What an incredible thing to find in my first herd of whitetail ever in this game. So I used the photo mode to take a few trophy pictures effectively, because that is something the photo mode in this game is incredibly good for, is basically taking sort of mock trophy pictures. It would have been awesome if I could have lifted his head up, but, you know, still quite happy with those pictures. But now to harvesting him, and this was the first time that I really wanted an in-depth look at where my shot placement was. It was interesting to see on the smaller deer, but just something about this being a trophy animal, I really wanted to play around with this harvest screen and see sort of the limitations of it, zooming in, zooming out, what kind of looks we could get at this guy and at the shot, of course. But just an incredible looking buck. I mean, look at the size of him. What an amazing looking buck. Like, that just is breathtaking to me. Incredible looking. My gosh, what a buck. I still can't believe this happened. Honestly, I can't. It was so early on in my time playing in the early access that I couldn't really, I was panicking almost. Like, oh my gosh, that's a huge, huge deer. I knew very quickly from hunting and scanning over a few herds of mule deer, and, you know, some of the smaller game I was coming across, that these 5 stars were clearly quite rare, because, like I said, everything was 1 star or maybe 2 if I was really lucky. So seeing this 5-star pop up, I just couldn't believe it. Now, this will just give you an idea, once again, of how amazing this harvest screen is in terms of detail with the bullet cam. You can zoom all the way in, like all the way in, to where it hit in the organ, like where it actually went through. You can see it really clearly in detail, which I think is awesome. And then, of course, you can rewind the bullet cam, so you can watch that journey in super close-up if you want to. You know, you don't just have to see the end of that journey in super close-up. You can rewind it through that bullet's journey. But now, taking a look at the overall hunt and information for this guy. So we got a 5-star hunt rating and, of course, a 5-star trophy rating. Now, you'll see that up in the sort of top right section under the animal info. It says 94.48% genetics for this guy. Now, I don't know if he's got to 94.48% of his potential size, and whether he could have got a little bit bigger. That was an aspect that was a little bit hard to work out during this early access, and I'm sure over time it will become a little bit more apparent what that exactly means. I don't know if it was perhaps genetic potential and that was the size that they could get to. I don't know. So that'll be interesting to find out, but either way, this is a monster buck. So, of course, I had to go and put him in the trophy lodge. A 5-star absolute beast of a buck. Of course he's going to go into the trophy lodge. A mature, awesome buck with a rack like that. Oh my gosh, what a stunning deer. And looking at it in the trophy lodge, this just looks so incredibly realistic. It's insane. Like, the way the mount just fits in with the environment of the lodge, it just looks incredible. I don't know how else to say it other than it looks real. Now, you can see here that I'm using my torch just to provide some more lighting, and that is some feedback that I will give to the devs, is that I think that in the top portion of this trophy lodge on the Nez Perce Valley map, there could do with being a couple of spotlights up in the top, because, yeah, it's quite dark up here until, like, the very, very evening time I've worked out, but even still, just the way this fits into the environment and the way this looks is amazing. I am totally and utterly blown away, and I'm so incredibly lucky and fortunate and grateful that I managed to harvest an animal of this quality during the early access to be able to give you guys an idea of what a potential trophy could really look like. And if that guy could have got, you know, just under 6% bigger, it would be really interesting to see, and that would make sense with the fact that these guys do grow and mature in game. You know, maybe this, you know, it is a mature buck, but he could have grown just a little tiny bit more, maybe, to reach his full potential. That's kind of what I'm thinking that means, so yeah, maybe he could have got a little bit bigger, and that will be an interesting factor to know, because it will tell you sort of how accurate your judgment is on when you should be taking these animals out, based on the fact, you know, if you're shooting a 5-star mature, but it says, you know, 85 to 95%, you could have let it grow a little bit more. So I think that would be an interesting one to see what that genetic potential, or whatever you want to call it, thing means in the harvest screen. So yeah, I'm sure we'll work it out as a community as time goes on. But overall, I just couldn't be more happy with this. An absolutely incredible hunt, and I'm just so thrilled that this actually happened, and I managed to actually be able to record it to share with you guys, and hopefully it'll give you guys a really good idea of what finding a potential trophy in this game could really be like. And it was incredibly exciting for me, and it's hooked me even more into wanting to fill the trophy lodges in this game with the best animals I possibly can, knowing the fact that there could be rares. You know, imagine finding like an albino whitetail buck with a set of antlers like this, and the antlers themselves just look so good. I just can't wait to see all of the things that this game has in store for us. But that is going to be it for this video, guys. I really hope you have enjoyed it. Thank you so much for all your support as always, and for watching the video, and I will see you guys in the next one. Thank you.